my, what is that indeed? Rick Emmett, you're our downtown coordinator, even though you're retiring. What are we looking at? That looks kind of nice.
Well, here we're looking at Market Square.
Is that a vibrant downtown?
So this is a vibrant downtown, yes. We've got folks on the sidewalk. We've got folks on our patios, which, you know, we've really embraced the patio experience more than most other cities did.
I used to just jaywalk across Gay Street. Now it's not so cool. All right, we're talking to Rick Emmett. He's our downtown coordinator. Eddie Smith is one of our panelists. Eddie, you got a question for Rick?
I do. And, you know, Rick, as we look at, you know, downtown now, what is, you know, I think one of the things that we really need to say is, first of all, thank you. And one of the stories that I remember that was at one of your retirement parties from the Blue Streak was how there was a problem with someone that was homeless, that was leaving a lot of trash. Residents and businesses were complaining, and you took that, you came up with a creative solution that wasn't just to call the police or anything else, but it was to solve the problem so that, you know, that problem wasn't there anymore. What is something that you would love to pass on to the person who's going to have your job next about thinking outside the box that way?
Well, you just really have to be careful a little bit. You know, when these problems come up, try to understand all sides of it. The homeless situation is terrible everywhere, and I usually know most of these homeless people. I usually know exactly what the circumstance is. In the example you're talking about there, Eddie, I knew exactly who that person was. I knew exactly what the story was there. So you just have to kind of be careful about it a little bit. But it takes experience to do that. Again, I came from Eastern Kentucky, from, you know, working for coal companies and working with guys with no education, and all they have is common sense. And a lot of times the simplest solution is the best one.
Well, and I would argue that you've been able to show also kindness as well as common sense. And
I appreciate that.
It's real easy to push them off into the ditch, but there's been a lot of kindness shown within the city. And I know there are people that complain about it, but and say, you know, we're spending money where we shouldn't spend it, but we have to solve this problem. And I think the last few administrations, and I'll go back to Haslam, they've done a very good job of trying to deal with a very difficult problem. Yeah. But real quick, we'd be remiss on this show if we didn't ask you your thoughts and the importance of Bill Lyons to the development of Market Square in downtown. Tell our audience a little bit about Bill and the impact he's made on downtown Knoxville.
Oh, Bill is so huge. Bill's my friend, my mentor, my boss. And I was thinking about this the other day, and Don, you may remember this too. When you really think about how Market Square and downtown took off, we had a series of great events that happened. One was that Victor Ash, I think, made Bill Lyons the chairman of, or put him on the board of KCDC. And I think Bill was chairman of KCDC. And I think Bill Haslam was also on that board. And so KCDC really got the ball rolling on Market Square redevelopment. And then Haslam gets elected, and he brings Bill in. And then Bill keeps that up, and that's how we built parking garages and got the Chamber down there, and, you know, got Regal down there, built the transit center. Bill Lyons, you know, got the transit center going. Bill's a huge proponent of TIFs and pilots, and you know, trying to talk to all the various political bodies about that was difficult and challenging, but Bill was great at it, and folks trusted him, and they understood it, and they could understand it.
Well, there's a reason we've named the stage in Market Square after Bill Haslam and Bill Lyons.
Yes.
And it was well worth it, and he deserves a lot more accolade than just that.
Well, and I think Don brings up a good point. You know, one of the things that I think the viewers need to understand is between Bill Lyons, that is years of commitment to the city of Knoxville, to a project. In a day and age where we have people who are changing jobs like changing their underwear, you know, you have stayed and you've been there. So I want to make sure we say thank you for the 31 years that you've given to this city.
So, Rick, in the time that we have left, which is rapidly decreasing, clarify for us what happens now. I mean, you're going to go into retirement, and I hope you have a blast, but do we know what's going to happen to your position? Yours was kind of an organic position. In the seconds we've got left, do you know what happens to it now?
I think it's going to be a team effort when I leave. I think there's an economic development team that this administration has created, and I think they're going to sort of divide up the tasks among themselves, because really it's not just really not downtown anymore. It's North Central. It's Sevier Avenue. It's Cumberland.
It's growing.
It's north. Yeah. So you really need to take the message of downtown to all those various areas, and I was doing that at the end, but I was spread pretty thin to try to meet everybody, all those places, and answer all those phone calls and deal with all those areas. And they weren't nearly as big as downtown, but they're getting there. They're going to get there. So I think it's going to be a team effort.
Growing. Well, we appreciate your time. We congratulate you on what you've done for the city of Knoxville, and we'll see you around. Time for one more commercial break, and then we'll come back and talk a little politics.